Reactions still coming in on the Twins not being sold. Much more on that. Plus, the Vikings hit the field, and you'll meet the #1 high school football player in the state of Minnesota. Hot Mike begins now.
Hot Mike with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mike.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mike. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to there are a lot of people upset edition of Hot Mike on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV, good morning, everybody in Sioux Falls. KNBN in Western South Dakota. And Inforum.com. Happy Thursday, everybody. August the 14th, 2025. The day after the day. You know, after we signed off yesterday, it's one of those shows I sat back, I'm like, that was a fun show to be part of. We had plenty going on yesterday. I thought, the show was going to go a certain way, and then bomb goes off that the Twins aren't going to be sold, and that kind of changed everything. And it was hard to avoid. If you're a sports fan in this part of the world and have any sort of inkling for baseball, this hits you like a 2x4 across the head. And I'll just say the last 2 weeks of Minnesota Twins baseball, where I was we're moving on. We're not going to spend any time on them anymore unless something big happens that requires us to devote time or resources to it. We got other things. We're on to football. And in the last 14 days, the team has traded away 10 major leaguers off its roster. They proceeded to beat the #1 team in the division, 1-2 of 3 against the first-place team in the American League Central, and then finally win a game against the Yankees. We're going to show you that in a second. And then also decide, the ownership group, that they are not going to sell the franchise 10 months after saying that they were going to sell the team. That's probably the best way to encapsulate what the last 2 weeks have brought about with this franchise. And it's hard to ignore the anger that is out there. There are a lot of people really upset about what went down yesterday. And we're going to get into that in a second. First, the team played last night, which, again, the games on the field are completely secondary the rest of the way here. They just are. It's not going to matter because we don't even know who's going to be on this team next year. And the reason we're showing the game last night, A, they beat the Yankees for the first time in 2 years, and B, like I said it yesterday, anytime Joe Ryan's going to pitch for the Twins for the remainder of the season, it's going to be must-see for a Twins fan. And he was great last night. They got off to another rocky start, though, because every time that they face the Yankees, they're going to hit a home run. Cody Bellinger did it last night. Rocks one off Joe Ryan there. Gave the Yanks a 1-0 lead through 3. The tie game at 1. Cody Clemens with his dad in the stands delivers in the top of the 6th. Laces that one to the gap in right center. Luke Keeschall and Byron Buxton will come around and score. It's a 3-1 Minnesota lead. A late Twins lead. What could go wrong at Yankee Stadium? Royce Lewis would add to it later in the inning with a double that just stays fair. Clemens will come in, and it's a 4-1 Minnesota lead. Joe Ryan was great. We've seen this time and time again. The only reason I'm showing it, folks, just enjoy it. 6 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 4 hits, and 1 run. He gets this out. That was the final batter he would face. in the 7th inning. Cody Funderburk would come in, and Funderburk has found himself since the deadline. He's one of the few guys that stayed around and been really good. Gets a big strikeout here to get out of a jam in the 7th inning. Justin Topa would pitch 2 innings of relief last night, which sounds like a scary proposition. But the Twins get a win. First time they've beaten the Yankees since April of 2023. 4-1 final last night. Look at that line for Ryan, was fantastic. Throws 102 pitches. He gets his 12th win of the season. And the Twins salvaged one out of New York, winning 4-1 last night. And again, this is secondary because of what went down yesterday. Byron Buxton spoke before the game. Star Tribune story did it that he said, he's excited that the Pohlads will remain as Twins owners. I'm not sure what else the players are going to say. Buxton, who's the longest tenured Twin, said, quote, he was excited to learn the Pohlad family, who 4 years ago signed into a 7-year, $100 million contract, will remain in charge of the only team for which he's ever played. It's good to know the people who signed me are still in charge. That makes the conversations a little bit easier, knowing that my whole tenure here, I've been under the Pohlads. I know the family a little bit. He added, that's something we can't control, so we didn't put much focus around it. Just tried to go out and play baseball. And Joe Pohlad, who runs the team now, did an interview yesterday. And in said interview, I think was about as tone deaf as one could get. Because it just screams that don't understand what is going on. He said in an interview, we want to win too. What? There's nothing that they have done since October of 2023 that would indicate that that's the case. None. Right after the playoff series with the Astros, he gave an interview that said we're going to right-size the payroll, which meant they were going to not re-sign Sonny Gray, which you can litigate that now. I was not a fan of them giving Gray whatever he got from the Cardinals for a guy that's past 30 years old, for a pitcher that's just – but a 1-year deal you could have done, 2-year deal you could have done. Said this, I would say to those fans, it's my job and this new ownership group's new job to do everything we can to set this organization up for success, hopefully in the short and long term. I look forward to it. Pohlad declined to reveal the identity of his new partners. Of course, that we read yesterday, that there are 2 limited partners coming on board with this. In both cases, they are groups of investors, not a single buyer. This is according to the Star Trib. Beyond saying that one is made up of Minnesotans, the other a family based on the East Coast. He also did not disclose what percentage of the franchise those partnership groups will own, nor how much they paid for the shares of a team whose estimated worth has been valued at $1.7 billion or more. I don't think we could have imagined a better outcome than where we landed. We found 2 great partners and have already developed some pretty solid relationships with them. There is alignment on how we see the Twins moving forward and also our belief in the future of baseball in Minnesota. I feel happy that the sale process has come to an end and thrilled with the partners we have brought on. The 2 things we talked about yesterday, and I think they both can be true, that I think they didn't get what they wanted, the Pohlad family, that they thought they could get more than the $1.7 billion. Did they get cold feet in this? That's probably part of it as well. The family's new partners will be revealed within a few weeks as the process goes on, is what Pohlad added. This is going back to the statement. We explored a wide range of potential investment. You saw this on the screen, and ownership opportunities. Our focus throughout has been on what's best for the long-term future of the team. We've been fully open to all possibilities. Pohlad would not comment on Justin Ishbia, the Chicago investment banker and co-owner of the NBA's Phoenix Suns, who took steps toward buying the Twins. Quote, the leader in the clubhouse, as MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred described him last month, before suddenly backing away in February in order to buy a larger stake in the Chicago White Sox. Ishbia's involvement, Manfred said, was the reason the Twins' future took so long to settle upon. There are a few things that I've encountered like this that have riled up as many fans as they did. And we scrolled through some of the reaction yesterday. I can't believe that the Twins didn't turn the comments off on the social media post that they put. You saw it of the statement, the graphic they put out. That was on their Facebook account, their Twitter account, Instagram account. I mean, just, again, a lack of awareness on that one, because you think this was just going to go over fine? It went over like a lead balloon. I mean, I still have emails today coming in. I've decided not to give the poll ads any more of my money until they start investing and putting out a winning team every year. It's not worth traveling outside from Valley City to Minneapolis and drop that kind of money for tickets, overnight hotel, gas for the car, food, just to see a bad team being run onto the field. In the meantime, I'll stay local, give my money and support to the Red Hawks. And I'm sure there's going to be more sentiment like that. To me, I don't know where they go from here. The fact they said we want to win too is just a punch in the face. Pohlad went on, being criticized, even booed, is just part of the role, part of owning the team. Our fans are passionate. Our fans want to win. We have that in common. We want to win too. I'd rather have passionate fans than fans who are disengaged. Well, guess what, buddy boy? That's what you're going to get now. You're going to have more people now that are tuned out, that want no part of it. Because apathy is where we're heading. We're heading towards people that are not engaged in this. Why would they? What are you going to trot out there? You traded 40% of the Major League Baseball roster 2 weeks ago. The Strip asked as well, will payroll rise next year? Pohlad said that as far as I'm aware, that the debt that the team is in was not a hindrance in this process, but with this transaction, we're going to be paying that debt down. Of course, that was of the money that they saved with the roster. Last thing, this was on the about of players that they traded. We just talked about that. Again, I don't know how you can say this with a straight face. Those were truly primarily baseball decisions. It certainly set us up for more financial flexibility, but they were primarily baseball decisions. We're really happy with how the team is playing right now. There's a lot to be excited about around here. We're in an age where people speak and not really aware of their surroundings or tone deafness. This is right there. And I feel for you, Twins fans. I do. The ballpark is great. The team has been less than good in the 16 years they've played there. More often than not, they've been bad. More often than not, they've been really bad. I don't know how this year's going to finish out, but it's probably not going to be pretty. And I can't imagine 2026 going much better, because if they were going to remain the owners, I think you have to acknowledge the fact that Pablo Lopez and Joe Ryan are going to get dealt. I don't think you could be pie in the sky that they're going to suddenly add and spend money on this roster. And that's deeply frustrating. Comments keep coming in. We'll read more throughout the show. One other thing we want to get to here is before we set up the show, the team that is going to get all the attention now, and normally does, the Minnesota Vikings were on the field yesterday for the first of two joint practices with the New England Patriots. This is where the starters are going to play. That's Drake May, of course, quarterback for New England. We're not going to see any of these guys play on Saturday. I'm going to tell you that right now, because the preseason game at noon Saturday, you're not going to see any of these guys going out there. Which, between J.J. McCarthy got some reps. More importantly, I think the Vikings starting offensive line got out there as well. That's one of the new guys. And Will Fries. Also, Ryan Kelly, the new starting center. That's him there, who they spent so much money to revamp in front of J.J. McCarthy that haven't played a ton yet in this preseason. They got some run yesterday, and they'll go again here today. Here's one of J.J.'s few. Again, the media is only allowed to shoot so much at practice yesterday. KOC spoke before things got going. Here's what he had to say about the next 2 days going down in Eagan.
I think, we talked about coming out of Saturday as a checkpoint. I think this is another one. From a standpoint of getting 2 full days of a ton of reps for the ones. I love our plan for these 2 days. With today being a little bit more of the kind of field work and some third down, and we'll finish it off with our first 2 minute, and then tomorrow work down into the red zone and get another 2 minute to finish. But it's going to be extensive, a lot of situational, weighty down type stuff, which will be great to just see. And as I told our whole team, it still is practice, but at the same time we're playing against an opponent, and we want to see the ability to handle it all. Success, they make a play. Can we move on to the next down? And
that's the part that I'm really interested to see today. Maybe some more physicality coming out. But again, for those that are clued into what's going to happen on Saturday, you're not going to see most of the guys we just featured in our video there. We got a packed show coming up for you here today on this Thursday morning. Looking forward to it. Our guest lineup is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up here at 9:35, you'll meet Bismarck Century standout Garrett Nissley will join us. He announced last week he's going to play basketball for Jason Kemp at MSU Moorhead. He'll join us at 9:35 to chat about his commitment to the Dragons, part of the state champion winners from Bismarck Century. That's coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, Sam Goetzinger will join us, of course, in his usual Thursday time slot to reflect on what we've seen from Bison Fall Camp. Now that we're officially 2 weeks out from the season opener with the Citadel. We'll talk with Sam about that and a couple other things coming up at 10. And at 10:35, Alec Ausmus will join us from KSTP TV Sports in the Twin Cities. He, of course, was at Vikings practice. We'll get the lowdown on the Twins. He also went to Jackson, Minnesota earlier this week to visit with Roman Voss, who's the #1 football commit in the state of Minnesota, who earlier this summer announced he's going to play for the University of Minnesota. We'll get AA's take on that coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on a busy Thursday. We come back. You heard from Tim Polisic after the Bison wrapped up practice yesterday. 2 weeks out from the opener with the Citadel. We're just getting started. Hot Mic returns after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com. Welcome back, everybody. A couple more emails coming in. I got to read this one on the Twins stuff. The poll ads refusing to sell the Twins is a middle finger to every fan. Years of penny pinching and no urgency to win while profiting off loyalty they don't deserve. The Twins aren't your trust fund hobby. This state deserves owners who care. That is aggressive and probably accurate. I can't really dispute much of that. We'll get back into that coming up later on in the show. Mentioned earlier, we are officially now today 16 days away from the Bison football opener at the Citadel. We'll be heading to Charleston, South Carolina. Some of us 2 weeks from today, some earlier, a little bit later. Looking forward to that. Just looking long-range weather forecast. Warm for an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff against the Bulldogs, which preparation for that for NDSU will start next week. They have a few more practices that they're going to really grind through here to start figuring out two deep roster here. And while we may not get exact of that, we're getting pretty darn close to it. Yesterday, after the most recent open media practice, we had a chance to visit with the head football coach, and Tim Polisic went through a couple of injury updates. You're going to hear on that. Asked about offensive line, which got a pretty spirited response, which I figured I would on August the 13th, on trying to figure out who the 5 guys are going to be, and a couple other topics we hit yesterday. So here's Tim's media availability after yesterday's practice.
Really good job by Will Rosenmeyer staying on top of treatment and stuff. We kind of thought that might have been a season-ending ACL type thing, and it looks like it's, just stretched and strained, and so he'll get back into the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett Tasted, what I meant to say the other day is, we got to get him back in the fight on some special teams. And then Brett with his hearing impairment and those kind of things, and MRI is just a little bit touch and go. And so they're working through those things, but he's in good spirits, and that family has been unbelievable for North Dakota and the Tastad boys and Cynthia, and I think he's working. He'll have a chance to get back at some point.
Austin Schultz, he said the other day.
Yeah, thank you for asking that, Mike. Austin Schultz is probably, it's a long-term deal. He's going to need surgery on a broken bone in the leg and ankle area, and that's unfortunate because that kid has done nothing but kind of just stay the course, right? And so there's been some adversity. I'm really pleased with Randy Chambers and Jeff Curtis that they're there for him to provide the words that I most certainly don't have, but it's been a rocky road for the Moorhead native, and I know Kevin Feeney reached out to him, so we'll keep praying for Austin, and hopefully he gets back here and he can remain positive.
Season ending or not?
It's going to be definitely long-term. I don't, whether it's 10 or 12, I mean, season ending could mean 18 weeks he could get back on the practice field. It's going to be significant time.
Tell me about Nate Tastad, where you had him at guard today. You moved him around a little bit.
Well, Nate is a guy that'll improve for the next 2 years every day. It's just kind of one of those things when he's not playing with great pad level, he's not playing with great knee bend and vertical leverage. He's just young, right? When he's on point with his technique and fundamentals and the basics of his stance and pad level, he's really pretty dynamic. I think both Nates have taken giant steps forward the last 6-7 days. Message, receiver, whatever you want to say, but they're kind of fending the big boy off a little bit right now, the freshman, and then Ryan's continuing to do a great job too, but Nate Tastad's been really good since the day he's gotten here. It's a little bit, they run a great program there, but he's kind of a natural football player, same with Brett, and I really appreciate that.
How close are you to figuring out your 5 or 7 guys?
We don't need to be close. I don't care about being close until we get conference play, but the faster you can do that, you're cultivating an opportunity for 5 guys to play together for 12 seasons. We're not. We got some guys that are really pushing forward up there. I think I could tell you who the group looks like it's going to shake up now, but that would be not respecting that we've got 4 to 5 really big physical football practices left before we get to Citadel prep. And that's the most important thing. I would say this, I would be shocked if we don't play 7 guys in the Citadel game regardless.
Now that Marcus Williams is on staff, I'm doing something on him. What have you seen in him?
I can't believe the impact this program has had on Carlton, all the speakers that come back here to speak, Marcus. We just had a little moment the other day. I took the support staff out quickly in one of the late evenings, and just the compliments about special teams when he was here and stuff. He's a football guy. I think he's got a bright future in this, but can he sustain the amount of time it might take to be getting a real paycheck? And that's what he's trying to sort out. That's what I've challenged him on, is give this a real shot for 6-7 months, but you got to stay up here till 12. And you got to know what it takes to be a coach, and you got to make your way. And then timing's everything. Does Duluth call with a job? Does Bemidji call with a job? Or do we have something that pop opens? I'm really comfortable with Marcus on the football field, recruiting, relating to our players, but he's got to become a great teacher before I would consider ever, a full-time role.
Has this been as physical as you wanted through camp? You're 2 weeks in.
Here's what yes, it really has. I think some of our fundamental changes that Dan Larson got going last year, and maybe even the year previously, the way we run off the ball, it just creates more collisions, and we're not running as much A-gap power. That's just the reality. So the collisions are different, but the one-on-one combat at the second level is most certainly more physical than what I can recall. And then I think kudos to Will Johnson and Devin Kleiman. Our safeties are coming up with a purpose right now, and they're whacking you. Maybe that was just because they were young last year, but that's been physical. And then you got this really prideful, chirpy group of receivers led by 3 seniors that they ain't going to take no stuff from anybody. And so right now, I like where our physical toughness and our willingness to hit is. I think we got to be a little sharper on the details of tackling, though.
Are you seeing too many interceptions in practice?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good observation by you guys. You've been here 4 times. It's kind of interesting. You guys have been here purposely on some of the most exciting drills, the hardest drills. Pup. We put them in a sudden change there today they weren't ready for. We're not respecting the ball enough at the quarterback position, but we're doing an unbelievable job at receiver and running back of taking care of it. And so part of it is we've asked those guys to push and to be daring and to learn what they can and can't do. But from this point forward, we got to really lock in and hone in on taking care of the ball at the quarterback spot.
One more odd question, but I was talking to Craig Haley, who runs the Peyton Award stuff, and there's never really been an offensive lineman that's ever really truly been in the running for that award. And you could argue that maybe the best player in FCS last year was an offensive lineman. And it's been, what are your thoughts? I know it's a tough thing because there's no stats.
No, that's cool.
But
I mean, you guys are so into Bison football. I think that's kind of cool to get to answer like a national, like the MVP in the NFL. Come on, let's just call it what it is, right? Like it goes to the best offensive player. That's interesting. I'm not sure how many defensive guys have won that award.
Well, none because they have their own.
They have their own. Okay. Well, O-linemen should most certainly, a guy like Gray Zabel should most certainly get consideration when you're talking about the level of play that he played at. I still think it's hard to overcome a Tommy Millott, Cam Miller's type season. I mean, offensive guys get a lot of attention. That's what we're trying to hold on to, the fundamentals of physical toughness, and things are still won at the line of scrimmage, and you got to make people beat you. They should be able to win it, and they should get some recognition. It's too bad that award's not given out after a draft or something. That's kind of like the Hall of Fame for college. It's not about your NFL career. It's about what you did here. And I'm excited about those years to come for us as well.
Good stuff yesterday with Tim. The one spirited question we got, answer, at least response, was certainly one I asked on where they're at on the offensive line. I will tell you yesterday, just from the notes I took when we were up for practice yesterday, this is real quick before we go to break. Yesterday, the Cowboys and the Commanders were there. At every practice that's been open to the media, there's been multiple scouts. Yesterday, this is how the offensive line lined up, left to right. Bo Johnson, Nate Tosted, Trent Fraley, Griffin Empey, Josh Magan. Then, that's with the ones. Then they rotated in with Ryan Babbitts, the true freshman, at left guard. So that's how they lined up there. But it was rotating between Tosted and Babbitts at the left guard position yesterday. I think as we sit here now, 2 weeks out, I think we have to now come to the understanding that there is a more than distinct possibility that the true freshman Babbitts could start for the season opener. And again, Tim made it plain there in his response to me that they don't necessarily need to have an answer come August 30th. I think they're going to let this play out for the first 3 games of the season, but by the time they get to the South Dakota game at the end of September, that they want an answer there. To the question that Mike asked on the interceptions, because we saw a couple yesterday in the red zone. Ryan Jones got one that was tipped off a receiver. Ray James, backup linebacker who's trying to get some reps, picked off a Cole Payton pass. The ball has been turned over through picks. They haven't seen any fumbles, but been some interceptions, and something that the Bison defense has been humming there. Again, I said this in late July. I'll stand by. I think the Bison defense is going to be better than the offense this year. I think the Bison D has been really good in 2025. But that's the update from practice. Next open session comes tomorrow, and then we're on, getting close to game week preps for NDSU in the Citadel. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll shift gears and talk some hoops. You'll meet one of the best players in North Dakota. Won a state championship last year for Bismarck Century. Garrett Nissley will join us on his commitment to go to play for the Dragons. That's coming up. We come back. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike rolls on a busy Thursday. Chat plenty of Twins and Vikes stuff coming up in about an hour from now as well. Much more emails coming in on the Twins non-sale as well. If you missed the story that happened middle part of late last week, Jason Kemp has been feverishly at work to finish out the 25 roster for MSUM, but he's got his work already started for 2026 as well. For a guy that we got to see up close last year here in Fargo, part of a Bismarck Century team that was fantastic, that won the AA state championship. And, boy, they bring a lot of pieces back. They could do it next year, this coming season, when they play it out in Bismarck. Garrett Nissley joins us, who announced late last week, he's going to play basketball for Minnesota State University Moorhead and the Dragons. Congratulations, bud. Thanks for giving us a few minutes. Did you the good vibes of playing in Fargo, did that rub off? Say, hey, I want to do this more while you committed to MSUM?
Yeah, I love it down in love it over in Fargo, so had to give her another shot.
All right, let's go back first to March. That run you guys had to cap it off the way you did. Tell me about those 3 days at the Fargo Dome.
Well, Mattern he was great about the 3 days in a row and all that stuff, and he had prepared us all season, 3 days in a row of practice, 3 hard days in a row, and maybe another one off or something like that. So when we got to the tournament, it was all about just keeping our head down, staying focused, and eyes on the prize the whole way through.
When you go through the WDA and people know how difficult it is, how much is that a preparation for postseason? Not even, I'm talking the WDA tournament I know is a grind, but just the nightly grind through the regular season of what that gets you ready for postseason basketball.
Yeah, I think it's a great prepare because of how every team in the WDA is going to give you their best shot. Everyone is going to be a good game. There's going to be crowds, fans in the stands, and it's going to be loud, and refs are not going to give you what you want and all the time, and Mattern's going to be on you, and you got to come back to practice the next day. So I think it's a great prepare for what is the end of the season and the end goal, that is another state championship.
People, I don't know if on the outside you guys thought this, Garrett, that Davies may have been the favorite or the sentimental favorite. Did you guys feel as underdogs going into the championship game?
Humbly, no. I don't think any of us, even when we were rated a little lower than we thought we should have been made preseason, I think humbly all of us as a squad knew that we were going to have a pretty good year, and we didn't feel anybody was foils or anybody was below us, but I definitely don't think that any of us thought that we were underdogs in any of the games we played this year.
Describe the emotion afterwards, the locker room, what's that like, especially with a bunch of guys, as I mentioned before we tossed it to you, that can come back and potentially do it again. What was the locker room after the game like?
It was extreme excitement and joy and like relief, like we finally did it. It's the grind of the preseason Mattern practices and the 4 hours in the gym and all the doubtfulness that was around us, and it was so joyful when we finally had it done, because it had bonded us so close together as a group of like brothers and teammates throughout the journey of the season. And I think to finally hold the trophy high was just a kind of a wipe of the head, like finally it was over.
You can't be oblivious that you're looking around saying almost everybody's back. Like, we could do this again. When did that talk start early after the championship game?
Well, I think for all of us coming back, we were kind of aware, and we still kind of are aware, but my dad tells me this all the time, that it's going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do to win another one. And if you think you got everybody's best shot last year, you got to double it, because this year you're going to get everybody's best shot. And I think that couldn't be more true. And I think more than anything, we have to just come together and keep all the outside noise out and just focus what we need to focus on, which is getting better every day, and keep the main goal at the forefront of our minds, which is that state championship.
Sorry about that. How much did Big Sis help with that? She went through that knowing full well of trying to win another one, of just knowing it's really hard to do it again.
Yeah. I think watching her growing up was a huge help for me, for everything from college visits to how to talk to coaches to how to handle everything to, like you said, winning another state championship or keeping that at the goal and at the forefront. And I think she's just always helped me to stay focused and not let outside stuff get into my head and differ my thinking and stuff like that. And she's really just helped me just keep my head down and stay true to who I am and not let anybody affect that.
I got to ask, so when did college basketball really become something on your radar? When did you start, like, okay, this is, people think I can play at the next level? When was it, a coach, practice? Tell me about that.
Well, honestly, when I was younger, football was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And then when that kind of got taken and put to the side, it was always a dream of mine that I wanted to play at the highest level I possibly could, because I don't know if like you've seen, but The Last Dance, when The Last Dance came out and I saw Michael Jordan, all 10 of those episodes, I was hooked. I was like, I need to play basketball for as long as I can. So since then, I've just been trying to do that and just get as good as I can and try to help myself to play for as long as I can. And I think that's all you can really ask for.
It's funny, that documentary keeps having different tentacles I never thought. It got you to play college hoops. So so describe that of how much were you paying attention to basketball prior to that, and then was it a complete 180? Like, okay, I'm going to put all my heart into hoops now.
No, I was still very involved in basketball. I started like playing before I could like really talk very well because my dad was a avid basketball player and still is. He loves the game. My sister obviously loves the game. My mom is a very good basketball player. She loves the game. It's just kind of like flows throughout us. But that competitive like need to win that probably stemmed from that that documentary, and then as well as kind of the blood in my genes. My parents and sister are very, very competitive. So
I'll ask about those games in a second in the family hoops. I got to ask about that. When did MSUM come into the picture for you?
I think a lot of the people I talked to, maybe a few of them were a little before AAU season, and a lot of them like outside were a little before AAU season, but a lot of them kind of flowed in at the same time around the around some of the first initial tournaments. Moorhead actually being probably one of the later ones, and then because I didn't know Kemp actually, I didn't know the new head coach until I got to their elite camp, and I had met him and talked to him, and he pulled me into his office and all this and that. And I've known one of their assistants, Jack Thompson, for a while. He's been a part of AAU program, so. And then from the time I met Kemp, I was just like, I don't know, he just had a different feel about him. He was just a great dude. And then, yeah, it was kind of just like, felt like home from there.
So when they offer, is that something like, all right, that got your attention more than maybe other schools? Or how did that, when you come to the decision, like, oh, this is where I want to go?
I'm not going to lie to you. It was very hard. There was a lot of schools that I felt were a good fit and great coaching staffs, great cultures, a lot of stuff. It was just, for me, it just came down to a feel thing. They've coming off a winning culture, obviously. And yeah, I just think that Kemp's going to do a great job. I think all the coaches will, but I think for me, more than anything, it's just a feel thing. And I just have immense trust in them and their program.
To have this all happen, Garrett, on maybe a short amount of time, you just like, holy cow! Like that, I wasn't thinking about playing college basketball. Now it's going to happen.
Yep.
Is it just kind of like have you thought about like this is happening in a short amount of time?
I'm just thinking about winning a state championship and going to help the Drags as much as I can. I'm just trying not to overwhelm myself too much. So
for people that know or maybe don't know, your older sister Logan had a dynamite, one of the all-time great high school basketball players in the state, now off playing at Nebraska. Describe those games growing up. What was that? What was the competition in the family driveway like? I got to know.
Yeah, so we would always go at it in the backyard and at some gyms and everything in the morning and stuff. And she got me for a long time, but once I started to mature and grow up, I kind of put an end to the beatdowns. So, but the old man still got me for a while. He still got me for a while. But
to have that as a role model, what was that like? Knowing, and she went through all of this, much like you're just talking about in terms of phone calls, direct messages, all that. How much did you pay attention to that or consult her when you started going through it?
Well, for a lot of it, because girls, as you know, it's different for girls.
No
They get
doubt.
recruited a lot younger.
Yep.
So she initially got recruited right away. I was quite a bit younger, so I didn't really pay attention all that much. But towards the end, towards decision time, I was definitely involved a lot more. And actually, when she went on her visit to Nebraska, she wasn't exactly really wanting to go. She had her mindset somewhere else and this and that, whatever. And when we left, me and my dad were kind of hanging out in the back, and I was like, Dad, she's going to Nebraska. Like, I kind of called it because, like, it was just like I said about Moorhead. It was just a feel, the culture. She didn't stop smiling, like all that stuff. And so those experiences really, really, like, excelled my, like, and prepared me for what I had to do when that time came for me. So that obviously was uber helpful. And so, yeah.
A couple last things for you, but I know you got a couple other teammates that are already getting. Gibby Kinnebrew's already got offered by the Bison here. He can be a junior this upcoming year. Describe that, knowing the level of talent you have back, let alone expectation-wise. What kind of talent you're bringing back for this upcoming basketball season?
Yeah, I think we have really, really good basketball players. I think we have really skilled, and I think the separator for Century basketball is just the team camaraderie, the love for the game, and then overall just like how hard we're willing to work, because that's instilled from us at practice. Like, I give the utmost credit to Mattern in how he runs his every day, because of what it builds us and how tough we are by the end of the year. And I think that showed last year when maybe we didn't have our best game in the state championship game, but we just kind of willed our way to a victory. And I think when you combine that with the guys that we have and the all-around talent that we have at from top to bottom, I think it's really fun and exciting for me to see. And I can't wait for this upcoming season, obviously, and it's going to be fun.
What's it like to play for him on a day-to-day basis? Give us the lowdown on that.
It's when I was younger, I was quite a bit terrified of him, and his just like the aura he has around him.
Yep.
Just like
you
get kind of freaked out by it, and he's so loud. But once you go through it for a season or two with him, like this will be my 4th year with him, and now it's just like we laugh and joke all the time. And I'm not going to say in practice, because I would run if we laughed and joked and all that stuff in practice. But outside of practice, he's just a normal guy, and it's great, honestly, because I love being held to such a high standard like he does, and I have nothing but respect and love for him. So,
does he ever smile? I know his brother.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Troy smiles all the time. I've known Darren. When does he smile? Did he smile after you guys won?
Yeah, he smiles a lot. It's a rare sight, but he gets to giggling sometimes.
Okay.
And when he gets to giggling, it's pretty funny.
It's great to see you, Buck. Congratulations. Thanks so much for the time. Stay healthy, and good luck this upcoming year, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Garrett Nissley from Bismarck Century announced his commitment. He's going to play for Jason Kemp and the Dragons coming up next season. He's part of a loaded roster. Century's boys, after winning it in 2025, very well could be the odds-on favorite to do it again in 2026. The state tournament this year being back out in Bismarck. We're overdue for a break. We'll take one here, get caught up, wrap up our first hour. Big second hour coming up here on this Thursday morning. Back on Hot Mic right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up our first hour. Our thanks to Garrett Nissley for giving us a few minutes there. Good stuff there with a talented guy that comes from a pretty good basketball bloodlines there. We're really excited to watch what Logan Nissley has in store for her year at Nebraska. Remember, the Huskers play the Bison in women's hoops coming up middle of November. That game is at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. So looking forward to those two teams clashing there. More reactions still coming in on the Twins deal. Dom, not encouraging news in the Twins camp, especially after the July dismantling of the roster. I used to look forward to getting down to the Twin Cities for a game as I have family in the area, and it's usually a fun trip. Not anymore for the near future, and that's a shame. Now a trip down home, be catching a high school and college game. That's okay. Probably won't renew the Twins TV next season, which is sad. That's another aspect of it. You know, it seems we've talked so much of the last 2 years about what's happened off the field than what's happened on. That's never good either. And that started with the debacle that you couldn't find him on TV for 3 full months last year. Remember that with the blackout with Midco and Comcast, that from May to August last year, when they played well, when they were humming last year, I think we forget that. from April to, and not even April because they were bad, from May to August last year, they were great. They were first place. Now, we know what happened the last 6 weeks of the season. It was right about now their tailspin started, but they played pretty good baseball, and no one could see them because of the TV contract issue, which, of course, lingered for 2 years over this franchise. They willingly went back to Bally knowing full well there were carriage issues there. They did that with clear eyes, did management on that one. Ownership did, because they went and got the immediate buck instead of, you know what, maybe we should go out our own way here and not close it off to fans. And then, of course, they had 3 months when they weren't on cable TV around here. There were a lot that turned away after that. We read them on the air. Like, I'm done. If you're going to make it hard for me to find or impossible for me to find, I'm not going to watch the games. And that's what happened. Now you look at it after this past offseason when they launched their own streaming channel. And I would admit it's probably been easier to find than we thought. But again, it wasn't straight up easy. Like, hey, it's going to be on the same channel you found it in previous years. But that goes into this as well. And for some that had cut the cord saying we're going to have to spend now, like, nah, I'm not going to do that. It all adds up. And it's just an ultimate kick in the you-know-what, that this was supposed to be the time, and it's not. This is from Aaron Gleeman, of course, covers the Twins extensively for The Athletic. He wrote this off the top. It's the hope that hurts the most. I'm embarrassed to admit I actually believe the Pohlads would do the right thing for once and sell the Minnesota Twins after putting the team up for sale in October. Even as the sales process dragged on for the past 10 months, and even as the team's second straight disappointing season led to a trade deadline teardown and another round of payroll slashing, the dream of an eventual ownership change dangled in front of Twins like the proverbial carrot on a stick. On Wednesday morning, that carrot fell to the floor with a thud in the form of a 247-word statement from Executive Chair Joe Pohlad announcing the team has been pulled off the market and the family will remain the principal owner. That's it. It's just an ultimate punch in the head that this isn't happening. And I don't blame fans for being mad. I don't blame fans for not going. And I think let's see tonight how many fans are removed for having signs saying to sell the team or, anti-Pohlad signs. That will be intriguing tonight. And a reminder, we've got Corey Provis joining us tomorrow, which should be a lively conversation. We'll break. We come back. We'll start hour 2 on this Thursday. Sam Goetzinger will join us and much more. We come back on Hot Mic right after this.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions. The original line read as this: bunions. You may have heard of them. That was my original line.
Hey, thank you, Dom. Johnny Cool Guys there with the sunglasses on.
That was off the dome.
To the west of
when
Illinois.
I'm looking on it, like west. I shouldn't say right and left. Is that Missouri?
That is Missouri.
Yes.
That is
it's underneath
Missouri.
Iowa. Oh, I'm getting good at this.
He's coming.
So we're going to the bottom peninsula region.
Peninsula?
Okay, we're going to come back on the ETSU tailgate and then go to you. How am I going to go from a tailgate to bunions? Okay, good deal. Let's take a moment and talk about bunions.
Here he is, folks. Joins us each and every Thursday, part of our St. Cloud Power Hour. Sam Goetzinger joins us here. Yes, Alec's going to join us at 10:30. There's nothing to talk about of the Twin Cities and sports-related news.
No, not a thing. Not a thing. Wow. Well, I wonder what Alec is going to say. He's going to have to scrape to fill time.
Yeah, the emails keep pouring in, too. It's been fast and furious here on what's gone down. I know you're not a huge baseball guy, but,
it's the thing. I grew up a major MLB fan. I first started with the Tigers because of Prince Fielder and Miguel Cabrera, and
I didn't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, no, I was huge. I would always go to the Tigers Twin Series at the end of the year, and And then I switched. I did what I will never do in the NFL. I switched over to the Twins, became a fan there. Go to games all the time, and then as I got a little older, went through college, and now it's just kind of lost my interest. Now this whole situation definitely. And I'm in the same boat as everybody emailing, everybody responding to the tweets and stuff. I'm good. I'm good for now. I'll check back in later once something interesting is happening. Once that fire sale happened, I was intrigued because I wanted to watch the dumpster fire go down, and then after a little bit, as I'm going to go back to where I was. So I'll pick it up later.
It's not pretty. I don't know what they were expecting people to respond, like the message in the interview with the Star Tribune when he says, we want to win too. That's totally tone deaf.
Well,
what are you talking about?
Prove it. What have they done to prove that?
Yeah. Nothing.
I'm a big believer. You got to spend money to make money, and that's just not what's happening.
I'm not understanding anything of what they're trying to get upon.
I'm curious. Are they going to be flabbergasted when no one's showing up to the games?
Well,
that's what it seems like.
I'm really interested tonight. Like the home game tonight.
Yeah.
And they removed signs last year, a couple years ago, when there was to fire Rocco. They removed the fans and the signs. Like there are going to be people coming tonight. There ain't no doubt with signs saying sell the team.
Right.
How they react to that.
So you're thinking it'll be a decent crowd tonight, then the rest of the way, nothing. They just want to get this initial wave of
maybe
fire the pull ad signs out there.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And I think there will be some definite vitriol and people upset about it in the stands tonight. And then I don't know who comes to the games after that. I really don't.
We used to make it a family trip some point in September to go to games. And that's just not even a thought that comes across our minds anymore. It's sad where it's trending.
I'm looking at the Star Tribune has a brand new varsity high school section. I don't know if you've seen that here. They debuted that early on Monday. They have a front page story on Jet Feeney, a quarterback of the Moorhead Spuds. They featured Moorhead on Monday, obviously, with its move up to 6A football, which we talked a little bit last week when you were on the show. And Jet seems to me like the forgotten guy of the D1 Moorhead prospects. Because Tay Rich gets all the love, and well, he should.
Right.
He's a two-sport star in baseball and football. David Mack has gotten some love as the wide receiver. Zach Walker has come on now. And then Jets is like, I'm the quarterback. And, Montana State and NDSU offered him this summer that I'm really interested to see what his junior year holds for him.
It's funny you say that because we've done plenty of their games, and obviously Jet is a phenomenal athlete, can spin the football like no other, especially for his age. I kind of get that sense too. I'm like, oh yeah, wait a minute. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the state, regardless of class. He is quite the athlete, and he can fire it even from just a couple of years ago when he was first coming through the thing. You could tell right away. This kid's pretty special.
Yeah.
I'll be really curious to see what's going to happen the rest of his high school career and where he's deciding to go play college. I think one of those top-tier FCS schools is a perfect landing spot for him right now. I'll be curious if he goes that route, whether it's a Montana State or NDSU. I don't know if you think bigger, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see who else comes in and if the kind of year they hope to have will maybe bring in more parties to the recruiting table, if that makes sense.
He is quite the pocket passer, not the most mobile guy in the world, but I'm sure that'll come with time. Not quite a quarterback like his dad. He can throw it though, that's for sure. They're going to be a good team. I think we were talking up in the office yesterday. I'd be really curious to see where their record comes out as. Above 500 would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal.
With what they have on their plate, I would think absolutely that would be something that would be they take that in a heartbeat. They're 6-3. You party on that one. It's the great experiment. I think there's a lot of people interested around the state about what Moorhead football is going to do in 2025.
A lot of people haven't seen them, and I think that goes back to the introduction to Jet Feeney is that people are going to see him for the first time. So we'll see. I think this could be a monster year, not just for the team, but for his recruiting as well.
All right, I want to rip the Band-Aid off. We found the video from last week. We were talking on your beloved Indianapolis Colts. playing their preseason opener,
yep.
and you were plugged in. You were talking to me about it last Friday.
3.5 quarters.
My God.
I couldn't believe it
either. A lot
either.
of preseason football.
And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. The Seahawks-Raiders have the late game. I'm done with this one. So I watched it. I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry the whole time.
So we'll roll it here because Anthony Richardson got the start. And, I mean, how do we evaluate how old AR played?
It like that.
That's pretty good.
It started off okay.
Right?
Like, we're getting somewhere. I wanted to see a full, at least like a quarter or something to get a better gauge. I thought more impressively was Tyler Warren, who just made that catch.
Which is good.
I think he had 4 catches for 40 yards. Yeah.
If you're not going to block a guy, I mean, he's unblocked.
But here's the thing. That's not the blind side end coming at him, too.
No,
Turn
it's
your
not.
head. Look.
Wow.
Make a maneuver.
You're crushing a guy for not. So then
I will say it was a lapse in communication all around. It's not all Anthony Richardson's
And then look
fault,
at your
but-
guy, Daniel Jones, getting to Tyler Warren there.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler Warren's
Let's
going to
go.
be really good. I'm just
So Jones is going to start their second preseason game,
yes,
correct?
from what it sounds like. I'm just
Nimble Daniel Jones. Look at this.
That was good.
Huh?
It was great.
Look
it
at
was
that.
fantastic. I'm just still not a fan of him being on the Colts. I don't want him as my quarterback.
I think he's going to be your quarterback.
I know. And it's just
Well, how long is
it
Richardson going to be out here?
I haven't got an update. I don't know if you can pull it up yet, but his pinky is not where it should be on his throwing hand.
Is that bad?
After that hit, it just the pressure came and it felt like slow motion watching the game. Like, here he comes. He's going to get blown up. And then when he didn't get back up, here we go again.
So
and it's preseason.
They play Saturday against the Packers.
Yeah.
So you're lucky Eric's on vacation,
Yeah.
or else he'd be hearing it nonstop from him on that.
This is the most I've been invested into the preseason, I think, ever.
Because of
in my
what's
life.
going to happen with quarterback.
I'm curious about it. I don't want Daniel Jones, but I guess if he's our only option,
Your schedule
we'll do
is to start. It's Miami and Denver, both at home, then at the Titans, at the Rams. I don't know how to evaluate those four to start.
My thing is looking at the Colts schedule. If we can get like a game above 500, then I'll be peachy clean. I'll be just fine with that. But looking at it this year and seeing what could happen, I think this could be one of the worst seasons since the turn of the decade.
So if that's the case, do they blow it up then?
Why not?
You
Why
know?
not blow it up?
I mean, how many years is this for Steichen now? Is this his third or fourth year?
I want to say it's third.
Third.
Yeah.
Because he was on the Eagles 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl and the Colts got him.
Yep.
I mean, 3's kind of the going rate in the NFL now. You
Yeah.
get pretty much 3 years to do it or not.
But you blow it up, and quarterback obviously is at the top of the list at this point.
And you blow that up too.
If they win 4 games.
Yeah.
I would love Archie Manning. Is he going into the draft this year? I don't
his
think
dad said no.
I don't think he is.
Or Grandpa said no.
Yes.
Sorry.
So, I mean, obviously there's other quarterbacks out there, but I think it would be cool to have Manning.
Oh my
back.
gosh, yeah.
I would love that. I would love they could pull out my Peyton Manning jersey back out again. I think you blow it up now.
Yeah.
If just be done with it. I expect 4 wins this season.
Wow. 4-13.
Yeah, I was
That is
expecting
a
9
long-
last year, but I'm going 4-13.
That's a tough year.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then you do. Then you go ahead and say, all right, we're going to, and that means Chris Ballard's done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is, I like him.
Ursay's daughter running the team now.
I believe the 3 of them are kind of
running the team?
Running the team now.
So, new era, maybe you just go ahead and
just start
rip
it
the Band-Aid
over.
off
Start it over and just do what the Twins don't want to do. And just try to help them out help out the team a little bit.
And that division as well. It's like, all right, who has their act together? I mean, Houston seemingly does.
Yeah,
but
Tennessee doesn't.
Titans are starting over. The Jags started over. They fired their coach.
Jags are middle of the pack.
So I mean, like they're not like they're falling way behind.
No, and that's the
Anybody?
thing. That's the thing. Last year it wasn't great, but they were around. They were hanging around for a little bit. So. And that's the beauty of the AFC South. You could be dog terrible, and you could still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Hey,
I was still holding on to playoff hopes for a little bit last year,
You said 9. They won 8. They were 8-9 last year. You weren't that far off.
No, that's what I said. I
Especially
thought
with
9-8 was going to be the way.
I mean, and Joe Flacco was playing quarterback for you guys last year.
And I was okay with that because he looked solid. I hope we come back in a couple weeks and I am all on the Daniel Jones train. I'm just not there right now. I thought Riley Leonard looked okay.
Yeah,
he can move. He can move a little bit. Quarterback out of Notre Dame.
By the way, before we go, you had some thoughts on the broadcast of the Colts. Did you not? Or did you watch the Ravens broadcast? Was it the Colts or the Ravens broadcast?
It was the Ravens home game, so the Ravens broadcast was...
Is that what we had? I don't know if that was the highlights you showed.
I think if you show them again, I can give you my thoughts on it. I was talking with some people that work here. The graphics of that game look like they were from 2008 Madden from what it was. I've noticed watching these preseason games, and it's not the big national networks that are putting it on.
Yep.
It just looks it looks.
Brody, go ahead and bring it up.
It looks different.
Man.
Yeah, I'm curious because I'm wondering if it was the Ravens broadcast on those highlights, but it. Oh, maybe this is
that's the Colts broadcast.
Okay, I haven't seen this one.
That looks all right.
That also looks like Madden.
Yeah,
however,
you got the first down marker. You got the
the Ravens one. The Ravens one did not have that. They didn't have the first down marker. They had the time. I don't know if they had the quarter on there.
See, that's the what?
I don't think so.
See,
it was very bare bones.
The interesting part of doing the side by side broadcast during the I know.
What a bad. Look at him holding his hand. Oh man, it's a clean blow up too. But go on.
The interesting part of when they do the side by sides in the NFL preseason is to do that of see what, because a lot of them now are simulcasting their radio broadcasts with the television. The Vikings have done that for a long time.
Yep.
But I'm really interested sometimes to see the graphic packages that are used for certain preseason telecasts that they go on.
I thought the Seahawks Raiders one was slick.
Yep. That was we only got to see the Seahawks broadcast because they were the home.
Yep.
That was what NFL Network picked up. But I would like MLB.com does this, and baseball fans know this, that you can pick what feed you want to watch when you stream it. NFL needs that for these preseason games.
Yes.
Because that would be badass. I'll just say it was badass. That's really neat. Like, if I want to watch the Cardinals play the Royals, I can pick who broadcast I want to get.
Right.
As opposed to what the NFL does, but you can't do that right now.
I was flipping between the Browns and the Panthers game.
God help you, man. Holy cow.
It was entertaining.
Go play some golf,
I
man.
wanted to see what Shedeur was going to do. My golf game is in the tank right now, so I had to entertain myself somehow. And the Browns were very cluttered. The Panthers looked a little cleaner. It was. I totally agree with you. If you could switch back and forth, I'm a fan.
All right, we'll break. We come back. We'll chat some Bison football as we are 16 days out from the season opener.
Already? Wow.
We got a few more emails coming in as well. On the Vikes and the Twins. We'll do that when Hot Mike rolls on. We're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, don't forget, first of two Bison football preview shows come up this Sunday night right after the news. At 10:35, myself, Sam, Cast of Thousands, we're with you again the following Sunday, and then we go. Football season begins.
Can you believe that?
August 30th. Well, yeah. I mean, we've been in it since like July 7th.
Yeah, I just thought we had 26 days, not 16.
No, it goes there, and you'll see that we're going to record our episode. It's not live, just so people know, on Sunday night.
Yeah, it's 10:30 on a Sunday. We're in bed. No, I'm kidding.
No, you're
We're
not.
watching.
Yeah,
no, I'm definitely not. We're watching.
Give us a little morsel we got coming up
Yes.
that you're going to be doing on the show on Sunday.
It's a packed show. We got something on the running backs. It's a new running back room this year. A lot of new faces, a lot of talent in there as well. So we'll hear from them. Same can be said about the defense as well, which has looked phenomenal throughout fall camp. We're gonna. It's not introducing you to some of these guys. It's reintroducing you because they may have had a smaller role last year and now they're taking on a bigger role this season. So we're going to chat about that in the preview show as well. We're going to tell you about the new coaches that have come in or the coaching changes that have come in as well. You got something with Cole Payton, with Coach Polasek. It's a pretty loaded show. These next 2 weeks are going to get you in the right spot leading into week 1 against Citadel.
I'm excited for our show, obviously this Sunday, but next Sunday, you all visited with all the Valley coaches and players when we were down in Sioux Falls. to get their thoughts on either NDSU or playing in the Fargo Dome. That we're going to feature that in the preview show a week from Sunday to get people really ramped for the start of the season. That was pretty neat.
I don't want to give too much away. There was only one group of players that said they enjoy playing in the Fargo Dome. I don't know if you want to take on any guesses on who you think that would be. South Dakota.
I was going to say the Coyotes.
Aiden Bauman and Charles Pierre Jr. were the
good
ones.
Reason they won.
They were the ones who were they enjoy playing in the dome.
That's good.
Yeah. I when we went down to Media Day, I will say this: I was asking them, obviously the important questions, but I was also asking them about their favorite uniform combos in the Missouri Valley as well.
Really?
And favorite
You didn't tell me that.
favorite places to play. I will say anybody who has a black jersey was immediately at the top.
Really?
Yes, and I agree with them. I'm a big fan of the black jerseys.
Well, who has black? I mean,
UND,
South Dakota does.
South Dakota
lame.
State does, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think they wear them anymore, though. I don't think the Jacks have worn the black ones.
I hadn't seen it.
Those are not good. The South Dakota State black ones are not. I'm not a
when
fan
you
of
mix
those.
it with the other colors, black and blue don't really go together.
USD wore the black ones when they played the Bison last year.
That was the heavy favorite on the best uniforms in the Missouri Valley.
Not really.
Yes. That and also
I like the black helmet. We have the black USD helmet.
It does
here.
look pretty good. Illinois State, do they?
Oh,
I have
wow.
not
They
seen
did.
the black one.
Yeah, years ago.
But people were a big fan of that. The guys that were there.
They haven't done that in a bit.
Mm-hmm. So,
see, there's a couple out there. There's not many alternate jerseys in the Valley anymore. UND has changed it up. I'm not sure what Schmidt's going to do with now him running the ship. If they're going to go back to pretty much during the white and the green jerseys,
the old school, because they got gray in there now, don't they?
Anthracite, yes,
Oh,
it's anthracite.
My
Make
bad.
sure you get
I
it correct.
apologize.
Yes,
I apologize.
because there's another team that's wearing anthracite around the area too that I got corrected on. The Bison obviously have their gold ones, which are sharp. USD has the black jerseys. Trying to think anybody. Indiana State doesn't. Murray doesn't. Youngstown doesn't.
I haven't seen.
Youngstown has old school where they have the penguin on the helmet.
I like that. It does look pretty slick.
If they should do that immediately. I know they watch. They should do it immediately.
Yep.
Who else am I forgetting in the league? Illinois State.
Murray State.
No, not
There
Murray.
was only one vote for
Southern never wore black.
See, now Southern was also another one. Their base jerseys.
Yeah, their color scheme is good.
They're a big fan.
I like that.
A lot
The
of players
maroon
in the league were a big fan of that. Murray State only got one vote for their jerseys, and that was from their head coach Jody Wright, who is a treat to talk to at Missouri Valley Media Days.
He's a dude.
I will say before we get to our next topic, the top places to play in the conference from the guys that were
Northern
there.
Iowa used to wear black too, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Northern,
okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Was the Alaire Center and
really
the Dakota Dome.
Really?
Because of the lighting was the big reason. Yes.
Wow. I would not have picked those two. Would not have been high up on the list.
Those were talked about. Those were talked about. Yeah.
Because I would tell you now, and this will get Bison fans mad. I don't care. Dykehouse Stadium. If you've been, So when you go this year,
since I was really young.
Okay. So you saw Old Coughlin.
I saw the old one.
The
but
new one
yeah.
is fantastic. It's the best stadium in the FCS. I'll say it right now. It is dynamite.
Yep.
Going back when I'm doing the countdown and seeing the old video of Coughlin alumni, what they've done with it's really, really good.
I'll
really
be excited to go down there then.
I would tell you.
It's been a
You went to
long time.
SIU last year. SIU Stadium is really nice.
Solid. Yep,
that one's
smaller
really
bowl.
good. The Unidome has some renovations going. We're not going to see
Illinois
that place.
State's the
Illinois State's is nice. I like that one.
It is a nice Southern high school football stadium. That's really what it is over there.
Well, compared to some of the places, yeah. Indiana State and Murray at the bottom with a bullet. They're both down. I think I would put. You haven't been to Terre Haute. You're going to do it at Terre Haute this year for the first time.
Yeah, that's a nice Midwestern
I
high
would
school
put
stadium.
Indiana
from what I've
State
gathered.
bottom and then Murray up ahead of them.
Yeah.
Youngstown State's place is huge. They haven't filled it in 30 years.
Since the glory days?
Since you go watch the Youngstown Boys 30 for 30 doc, you can get it. I would probably put them and the Unidome together. I would not have the Alaris and the Dakota Dome up in my top four. I don't think I would.
It was obviously the Dome, SDSU, and then those two wrapped up the top four.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So that's coming, not this coming Sunday.
Yes.
But the
next
following Sunday on that. We played Polisek's media val, because you were up there yesterday with us. Is there anything to be made of the fact that there's been a bunch of interceptions that we have seen?
Yeah, he mentioned it. It's a little concerning. You want to limit those, but then again, I go back to it. Is the defense just reading their coverages fantastic? Are they jumping the plays well? Is it the quarterbacks who are off on their accuracy?
Or late on their throws?
Late on their throws, correct. You're going up against one of the top defenses in the country. I think it's good you're seeing a lot of different pressures. Yeah, it's probably not the most enlightening sign in the world, and hopefully that comes around over the next couple of weeks leading into the Citadel. But I don't think it's anything to scream about just yet. I would give it a little bit.
Email comes in to ask Dom and Sam, what's the under-over on how many true freshmen are going to play this year?
Yeah, we said 4 last time was the line.
I'm taking over on that. I'd hammer the over on
definitely
that.
the over. So to say, what if we went 6? Would you go over on that?
Yeah, I think we're probably at 7 or 8. I would.
7 or 8,
and I guess we have to define in the email what play is. If that means one game or we're going to pull the red shirt and play, 10 or 11 games, then I would say.
Well, I mean, because you're going to see 7 or 8, possibly 10 in the first 3 games of the season.
Yes.
So are we counting? Yeah. How are we going to count that? Are we going to?
Okay. So
is it a Jackson Williams situation? Is it a Donovan Woolen situation?
Right.
Or is it 4 games
like a Peter Haugo
situation? And then you're
because Haugo played 3 and then I think he played 1 in the playoffs.
I think if you're doing that, if you're doing the Peter Haugo situation, the redshirt situation, obviously hammer the over. I think if you're going the full distance, I think you're sitting right at about 4 or 5.
I would say maybe 4.
Yeah. Elijah Wayne.
I think Ryan Babbitts and Elijah Wayne are going to play.
Are 2 up there.
I think Marion Moore is going to play, cornerback out of Madison.
Is Chris Keel in the conversation?
I think Chris Keel is going to play.
Who else?
Yeah.
Is there any linebacker? No.
Mikhail Ford is going to play, safety out of Lincoln. I think he's going to get
obviously Miles Mitchell.
Miles Mitchell's going to play.
That goes back to you forget he's a true freshman because
so now you're
he's been there
already.
for so long.
So you're not that far off of what I said of being over 6.
Gosh, I definitely think you add 1 or 2 more onto that list that we're forgetting, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody. If Gavin Sell had been healthy, I think he would be in the conversation at linebacker that they were going to have him play.
Well, yep. And especially now that there's more opportunity there with some injuries.
Right.
Yep.
I think when you look back at it too, because I've had fans ask me, well, is this more of the fact that the last couple have they missed on the last couple of recruiting classes, or are these guys that good? I think it's the latter, and I'm not trying to be a Bison homer here. I just think that the guys they got are that talented
so well on this class, and they come in and they look like they're juniors in college already. They're big, they're imposing, they're physically mature. I think this was just a stellar class to come through. No knock on the guys that are already there. Just this group is ready to play ball, and they're showing that they want to play early in their career.
There's one other guy. I think.
How much do you think of it, too, with the era that we're in, is that some of these guys...
Gabe Cunningham's going to play, too. Tight end.
Yes, correct.
So there's 6.
There's the other one. How much is this, and I know we got to go, the opportunity may not be at the bigger FBS schools anymore with the transfer portal.
I think they're not recruiting high school guys.
And the landing spots here, and NDSU's going to go all in on the high school guys, so they're going to get this top talent moving forward.
The question is, how long do you hold on to them for?
Exactly. That is the game moving forward. Yep. Is it a 1 or 2 year nice to have you, and then we'll see you later, best of luck moving forward, or is it going to be a guy who's a dynasty guy?
Yeah. I guess that's the catch-22 of it all.
And we'll have to wait and see.
Great stuff as always, bud, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday night for the preview show.
It's going to be fun. Going to be fun.
Sam Goetzinger joining us each and every Thursday. You can check Sam out as part of our preview special, and he'll getting ready. We got high school games to be called here pretty darn soon,
coming up right away.
Just a couple weeks away. We're getting into that. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll keep our St. Cloud Power Hour going. Alec Ausmus join us from KSTP TV in the Twin Cities on the Vikings. Something happened with the Twins yesterday. We'll discuss that. We come back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning show rolls on. Got a bunch of emails still coming in. Apparently, something happened in the Twin Cities yesterday, which seems like a perfect segue for our next guest to join us, who chats everything going on. He was at the Vikes yesterday. I got a feeling there might be some people at Target Field tonight when the Twins are back home. Alec Ausmus back with us from KSTP TV Sports in the Twin Cities to chat everything going on. I don't even know where to start with the Twins deal. It just the 2 weeks ago we had you on and didn't know what was going to happen, let alone 10 guys get traded. I was fully ready to move on of talking about on my show because they just weren't playing well and they were going to be sellers. They have refused to come out of the spotlight because of what's happened over the last 2 weeks.
That trade deadline was historic. I mean, that's something that will go down in Twins history. And then the news comes out yesterday that the Pohlads are going to keep majority ownership of the Minnesota Twins, and they're going to bring in two separate minority stakeholders, one of them local and one of them coming out of the East Coast. I'm not convinced, that news and that decision wasn't already decided back 2-3 weeks ago around the trade deadline, and then they spaced it out because what a bomb completely that would have been. You trade 40% of the active roster, and oh, by the way, we're not actually going to sell the team anymore. Frustration is at an all-time high in the Twin Cities right now, and outside of the Twin Cities, just the Twins fan, Twins territory, so to say. It's frustrating. This team 2 years ago won a playoff series. Last year and this year, the Twins at times in preseason were predicted to make some noise in the AL Central, maybe make it back, maybe win a division title, maybe make it back to the playoffs. And obviously things have completely derailed. And where I'm concerned, Target Field this year, attendance, it's going to be at an all-time low. Like, they are trending towards the lowest season attendance in Target Field history. Okay, the TV deal, the Twins TV, that's a mess right now. It's not successful. Things are not heading in the right direction. And reading the Pohlads' message to the fans yesterday, saying that they're hearing everybody, they want to turn things around, and they're really into the engagement of fans. I'm not buying it right now. I'm just not.
Pohlad said yesterday to the Star Tribune that we want to win too. I mean, that's just such a tone deaf thing to say when you trade 10 guys off your major league roster. It's not, you're not relating to what the fan base is going through right now.
Absolutely, and the Carlos Correa trade, that was a complete just getting some money back, so to say, for the Pohlads. Yeah. And you get nothing in return for a star player like that. It's a complete rebuild right now, Dom. Yeah. Some people have been trying to convince me that they got some guys, it's okay. No, it's not. Okay, I mean, yes, Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, fantastic. That's a good start in the starting rotation, but maybe Luke Keeschel and Brooks Lee and Royce Lewis really help turn things around, and the rebuild isn't as long as it's looking, but they're in a deep, deep hole right now.
I know Doogie's working on this. Has he got anybody knowing who the Minnesota investors are? Do we know anything on that yet?
He was digging into this, and he was just speculating that possibly it could be the folks associated with Cambria.
Okay.
But he was just speculating. But, of course, Darren has text messages going out left and right. He was even texting some people yesterday before this Pohlad news came out. Like, he had some sniffs of it even before the press release came out, which it's crazy what Darren, the connections he has. But
yeah, I'm interested on because I don't know if it's not comparable to the A-Rod Laurie deal because they came in and obviously they got control. They were the ones to hire Tim Connolly and all that. I don't even think Twins fans can glom onto that, thinking whoever comes in can maybe help run the baseball operation. I don't think so.
Correct. And I know it's old news now, but when the Ishbia brothers were in the conversation, I know that was when the optimism was really high. Just seeing what they've done with the Phoenix Suns and obviously the one Ishbia brother in Chicago with the White Sox. So that's done. That's not happening.
Yep.
I thought this was going to drag out a couple years. I thought there would be a for sale sign in the front yard, so to say, with the Twins, and I thought it would maybe drag out. Clearly, Dom, they didn't get the offer they wanted, and the Pohlads are $400 million reportedly in debt with the Twins, and that's not all based off of performance of the team. It's tied into other financial areas, but it sounded like $1.7 billion was the asking price for the Twins, but it also sounds like the poll ads wanted some of that debt to be taken off as well, which then pushed the asking price closer to $2 billion. And I think that scared away several potential buyers.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I'm interested tonight what the reaction will be with the Tigers there. If fans are going to be removed from the stand, if they have signs saying sell the team, how that's going to go tonight. I really am interested in that.
And on top of all of that, I think the Twins will face Tarek Skubal, the ace for the Tigers. So not only is it some boos coming from the stands before first pitch, it could get ugly as far as the success that they have not been able to touch Skubal. It's tough, Dom, right? Like, this is a time of year when we should be talking Twins in a playoff chase, Twins in the playoff run here, and they're 6.5 out. They're not making the playoffs. I'm not trying to say that, but I just mean they're so, it's just the season feels over. It really does.
And with the Vikings starting, I guess that's maybe the perfect segue of what's going on. You were in Eagan yesterday. For those that can't go, first, I've been clamoring, if we're not going to have the guys play in the preseason, televise these then, which the coaches are never going to do that. But what can you tell us from joint practice number 1 yesterday?
Joint practice number 1, New England Patriots are in town. Mike Vrabel, longtime great for the New England Patriots as a linebacker, multi-Super Bowl guy. He's the head coach now. He was here 2 years ago as the Tennessee Titans head coach.
Right.
They were part of a joint practice with Kevin O'Connell and everybody. It went so smooth. They got it scheduled this year, and he even told us yesterday he loves cheese curds in Minnesota so much, so that helped make his decision to come back. If you've ever been to Eagan or the Vikings facility, they have an Omni Hotel basically on the property, so it's super smooth for teams to come in for a joint practice. That being said, it's full pads. It's Vikings against the Patriots in individual drills, then they do offense against defense, vice versa. Quarterbacks still wear the red jersey, so in theory, your quarterbacks aren't getting touched. What is interesting and what I like about at least yesterday's practice, a guy like J.J. McCarthy, and keep in mind the Patriots have Drake May, these two young quarterbacks on the field. Each of them probably threw 50 to 60 passes in some way yesterday. Like, that's way more than you're going to get in a preseason game. So you're throwing 1 million passes up against another defense. J.J. McCarthy, let's start with him. Not bad, but not great yesterday. He definitely had some throws. They had some offsides penalties and things that I think he wants back. What I'm noticing with McCarthy when he is throwing an interception, it's not because he's reading the defense wrong. It appears that he's just overthrowing his receivers. He's got to work on some accuracy right now. But to his credit, he hasn't played in a football game. Last Saturday's preseason game was his first football game in a year. There's some rust, I think. I'm trying to believe in that. There's some rust right now with J.J. McCarthy. The Patriots offense had some success against the Vikings defense yesterday as well, and that's going to happen. I'm not saying the Vikings defense is going to come out here and absolutely shut everybody down, but from what we've seen in training camp so far, the success they've had against the Vikings offense, I was expecting a little bit more from the Vikings defense, but again, it's practice. Guys are just still kind of getting into the swing of things.
The defense seems like it's had the better of the offense just throughout most of training camp. Are there anything for you or for people that are going to check out the game on Saturday? What storylines, even if the main guys aren't playing, what are you like? I'm looking, who's going to be the number 2 receiver with Jordan Addison suspended for the first few games of the year?
Yeah, and Jalen Naylor and Lucky Jackson, those have been 2 guys we've been talking to. Their rookie wide receiver, Ty, I can't even remember his last name, Dom.
Felton.
I wanted to say Gibson. That's a pitcher. Ty Felton. He's been doing well with kick returning as well. Defensively, though, Gabriel Murphy, he's a linebacker. He outplayed Dallas Turner last week.
Not great.
They didn't have necessarily equal snaps, but it was comparable. And that was eye-popping to me, that Dallas Turner, he had so much momentum so far in training camp. He didn't play well. He was kind of not relevant. And Gabe Murphy is really been impressing. That's nothing new, but I thought he stood out well. Dwight McGlothern, he's been doing well in the secondary. I've been keeping an eye on some of those guys that are competing for jobs on this team, and we always get asked about the quarterback situation. Like Sam Howell, he played pretty well in the preseason game, but at actual practice and an actual camp, he's been irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. And then Max Brosmer, former Gophers quarterback, he's been looking great. I think he might have a shot at maybe now making the 53, but is he a guy that gets snatched by somebody if the Vikings are trying to stash him on their practice squad? And it's crazy to think that a lot of these decisions need to be made in the next week and a half or so.
Last thing before we go, you made the journey to Jackson, Minnesota to meet Roman Voss. Give us the lowdown on the future Gopher football player, the number one recruit in Minnesota.
Roman Voss, great kid. Jackson, Minnesota, just about 3 hours away from the Twin Cities. And when I interviewed Roman, I wasn't trying to be rude, but I even said, Roman, driving down to your hometown, there's not much between here and the Twin Cities. Like, you're out there a ways. And he just smiled and he said there's a lot of pride, okay? And they have another lineman on their team that's going to South Dakota next year, so it's rare for a small-town school, a 2A school, to have two Division I guys on the team like that. But big kid, incredible kid. Dom, it's cool to see these high school kids, man, as they're starting to live out their dreams a little bit. Roman Voss is the highest-ranked player in Minnesota right now, and he's headed to the Gophers. And big kid. He does everything. He's a quarterback. He runs the ball. He plays receiver a little bit. Just to see a talent like that in a town of about 3,000 people in southern Minnesota, cool to see. We'll have more on him coming up next week on Channel 5 here in the Twin Cities. But high school football's here.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's time. The bell's ringing. It's time to kick things off.
How wild is the hype in his town for him?
He has been a rock star since 8th grade.
Yeah.
He first played varsity football as an 8th grader, and he has school records in not just passing touchdowns, but rushing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. When you think of it like that, even in a small town, pretty incredible. Multiple categories on offense he's setting school records in. He's labeled as an athlete to go to the college level, and he is every bit of that.
It's great to catch up, bud. I know you're a busy man. Thanks so much for the time. There's no shortage of things to talk about right now. We'll do this again next week, okay?
Sounds good, Dom, as always. Thanks for having me,
Good
man.
to see you, bud. There he goes. Alec Ausmus joining us, KSTP TV down in the Twin Cities, giving us the lowdown on the Vikes, the Twins, and some Gopher football chat. The Gophers open up 2 weeks from tonight to start their season with Buffalo. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap things up and get you ready for a busy Sports Thursday. We got a lot going on today. We'll do that when Hot Mike wraps right after this.
We're here at NDSU talking to one of the premier soccer players in Morehead High, 6-year-old, Jackson Izzo. Jack, what's your favorite part of soccer?
Kicking goals.
Kicking goals. You score like a lot of goals?
Yeah.
How many a game?
I don't know, like 2 or 3 or 4.
You obviously get your athletic ability from mom. Have you ever seen your dad even play golf?
No.
That's a good thing. This is Jeff Kopak reporting live from the NDSU Indoor Performance Complex. Back to you, Sam.
That was a highlight from yesterday from Firing. Look at that smile on that one. He's got a tooth that's wiggling here. He had a blast up at fall camp yesterday. He loves his soccer. He's been doing that the last couple of years now. Now we've upgraded to big boy soccer Mondays and Tuesdays out in South Morehead. So he came with us to practice yesterday. Had some fun out there, and even got an interview with Kolpak. So there you go. Good stuff to wrap up the show. I got a bunch more emails on we can't get to everything today. Here's one actually that's pretty relevant. We're heading to tomorrow night's Twins game. Glad the tickets are free. I'm going to try to limit my spending at Target Field so the poll ads don't get our money. Sell the team. Yeah, I think that's been the overarching theme we have heard over the last 36 hours since the news broke. And again, I had no intention. Once the deadline came and went and the Twins were submarining, I was done with them. We're not going to spend a lot of time on them, and they've refused to go out of the the headlines for us. That's why we've spent so much time. And I think the amount of vitriol, the amount of emotion that you're hearing demands us to talk about it. So Corey Provis will be on the show tomorrow, and we'll talk to Corey about when we had him the day after the deadline. Now we're going to have him 2 days after the non-sale, and he will always be as candid as he can be, and really interested to hear what he has to say about what this has been like, and especially tonight's game. I had no intention of watching the Twins at all, but I'll flip it on, A, to see who's there, and B, to see what the reaction is when the team goes on the field. It's not the players' fault, like Buxton said. We talked about that off the top of the show. It's a no-win scenario right now for the players involved in that. It's not great. All right, before we go, let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. All right, what to watch is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. We appreciate their sponsorship of our show. Again, Twins and Tigers tonight, 6:30 on Twins TV. The BMW Championship gets going, 1 o'clock on the Golf Channel. Our guy Tom Hoagie's got to finish in a tie for 13th or higher to make the Tour Championship. That's what it's in front of him. He's got to play 4 really good rounds of golf. It's only 50 guys that are involved in that. That's coming up later today. And the Little League World Series gets going again at noon. The team from Sioux Falls will play tonight at 6 in Williamsport. Our thanks to Garrett Nissley, to Sam Goetzinger, and to Alec Ausmus. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate your emails and tweets, all that good stuff. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.